What do you think about when Karl Malone gets included on teams like this?
I like it. I mean, I think he's top 20.
He got a 13-year-old pregnant. Timeout? You need a timeout? A 30-second?
From Patrick Beverly reconsidering his long-held admiration for Karl Malone to Victor Wembanyama's viral moment that reignited outrage, a growing list of NBA figures have openly turned against one of basketball's most decorated legends. These players and commentators are no longer separating Malone's on-court greatness from the disturbing realities of his personal life, which many believe permanently stains his once untouchable resume. The argument is no longer subtle. They believe the mailman's legacy should not merely be questioned, but fully dismantled and symbolically returned to sender. The latest spark came when Victor Wembanyama appeared to publicly endorse the idea that Karl Malone should face imprisonment. On July 24, 2025, the NBA's official history account posted what was expected to be a routine birthday tribute, wishing Malone a happy 62nd birthday. The league likely anticipated a wave of celebratory comments, heart emojis, and nostalgic highlights from his Hall of Fame career. Instead, the post detonated into chaos. The comment section was flooded with more than 2,000 responses, most of them relentlessly condemning Malone and dragging his name through the mud. What made the moment truly explosive was not the predictable outrage from anonymous fans online. The real significance came from who joined the conversation. Victor Wembanyama, the generational San Antonio Spurs star, the 7'4" French prodigy, who many assumed would be far removed from decades-old American basketball scandals, unexpectedly inserted himself into the controversy. Against all expectations, Wembanyama decided to take a clearer stance. To understand the weight of what he did, the details matter. Wembanyama did not release a carefully crafted statement about accountability. He did not hold a press conference, nor did he issue a response through team representatives or public relations channels. Instead, he simply reposted a video meme from a fan account. The clip featured content creator Lil Rodney's son reacting in disbelief to the NBA's birthday tribute, passionately exclaiming variations of, "What? No. That's not what we're doing. Lock him up. He needs to be under the jail. Arrest him immediately." Wembanyama added no caption, no clarification, and not even an emoji. The silence was deliberate, and it spoke louder than any formal condemnation ever could. To anyone paying attention, the message was unmistakable. A 21-year-old superstar from France was effectively co-signing the belief that Karl Malone belongs behind bars, not on a pedestal receiving celebratory posts from the league he once dominated. Social media erupted almost instantly. Spurs fans, in particular, began drawing connections that only deepened the controversy. They pointed out Malone's reputation for throwing brutal elbows during his playing days and reminded everyone that Spurs legend David Robinson had once been on the receiving end of Malone's physical abuse. Whether Wembanyama was aware of that specific history or was reacting solely to Malone's off-court allegations remains unclear. Regardless, the timing felt poetic to a fan base known for its long memory and deep-seated grudges. The outrage traces back to an incident that has haunted Malone's legacy for decades. In 1983, while attending Louisiana Tech University, Karl Malone, then a 20-year-old sophomore, impregnated a 13-year-old girl named Gloria Bell. At the time, Louisiana's age of consent was 17, making the act statutory rape, a felony offense punishable by up to 10 years in prison. Criminal charges were never filed, reportedly because Bell's family chose not to pursue legal action. They allegedly feared that pressing charges would derail Malone's basketball career and eliminate any chance of him providing financial support for the child. That child, Demetrius Bell, would later become an NFL offensive lineman drafted by the Buffalo Bills in 2008. Despite his success, Demetrius had little to no relationship with his biological father throughout his childhood and early adulthood. When the two finally met after Demetrius graduated from high school, Malone reportedly told him that it was too late to build a father-son relationship and that he would need to figure life out on his own. Demetrius later described coping with the abandonment by telling himself it was as if his mother had gone to a sperm bank, a heartbreaking reflection of the emotional damage left in Malone's wake. Malone himself has shown little remorse or accountability. When renewed scrutiny surfaced in 2023, he brushed off the controversy entirely, stating that he did not care about the backlash and that his personal life was nobody else's concern. That dismissive attitude only intensified public anger, reinforcing the belief that his legacy deserves reevaluation. Reactions to Wembanyama's reposts were overwhelmingly supportive. Reddit threads praised him for addressing an issue that older players and league officials had avoided for decades. Twitter was flooded with memes highlighting that Wembanyama had reposted a video implying Malone should be jailed, accompanied by applause and laughing emojis. Many fans viewed the moment as evidence of a generational shift, with younger players refusing to excuse disturbing behavior simply because someone was great at basketball. Critics argued Wembanyama should stay focused on the court and avoid controversies that predate his birth, but those objections were drowned out by near universal approval. The episode underscored a larger reality about the modern NBA. The new generation is watching, and they are no longer willing to allow history to be sanitized just because a player has statues, records, or Hall of Fame recognition. However, if anyone thought Wembanyama's silent repost was the most visceral NBA reaction to learning about Malone's past, they clearly had not seen what happened next on Patrick Beverley's podcast. Patrick Beverley has built his career on being unapologetically outspoken. During his 12 NBA seasons, he was known as an elite irritant on defense, a fearless trash talker, and someone who never filtered his thoughts. That same unfiltered personality carried over when he launched the Pat Bev podcast with co-host Adam Ferrone. Fans expected raw honesty, but few anticipated that Beverley himself would become the headline. During an episode released around August 7th, 2025, Beverley and Ferrone were conducting a hypothetical all-time NBA draft. Beverley, evaluating players purely by basketball credentials, selected Karl Malone and ranked him among his personal top 20 greatest players ever. His reasoning was straightforward: two-time MVP, 14-time All-Star, third on the all-time scoring list with 36,928 points, and half of one of the most lethal duos in NBA history alongside John Stockton. Then Ferrone asked the question that changed everything. Should off-court behavior factor into all-time rankings? Beverley admitted with disarming honesty that he knew almost nothing about Malone's life outside basketball. What followed became one of the most genuine reactions ever captured on a sports podcast. Ferrone revealed the core detail. In 1983, Karl Malone, at age 20, impregnated a 13-year-old girl. Beverley immediately called for a timeout on his own show. He asked clarifying questions, initially hoping Malone had been a minor himself. When Ferrone confirmed Malone was 20 years old, Beverley fell silent, his jaw dropping as his entire demeanor shifted. For a man known for non-stop talking, the silence was deafening. He stated plainly that the situation did not sit right with him, clearly shaken by the revelation. As Ferrone added that Demetrius Bell went on to play in the NFL but had no real relationship with Malone, Beverley's disbelief deepened. The clip spread across social media like wildfire. Fans praised Beverley for reacting the way many believed anyone should when confronted with such information. Fellow players joined in, with Lou Williams sharing the clip and Beverley retweeting it while admitting he had no idea and felt like he had been living under a rock. The irony was impossible to ignore. Victor Wembanyama, a 21-year-old French player early in his NBA career, knew about Malone's scandal. Patrick Beverley, a 37-year-old American who spent his entire adult life inside NBA circles, had been completely unaware. The contrast exposed how effectively the league had buried this chapter of history. The NBA knew. The Utah Jazz knew. Media members covering the league in the 1980s and 1990s knew. Yet Malone continued to be honored, celebrated, and showcased without meaningful accountability. Beverley's stunned reaction peeled back the protective layers surrounding certain legends and forced millions to confront the uncomfortable truth that some icons are shielded regardless of their conduct. And Malone's controversies did not end there. Another explosive incident unfolded years later involving someone unwilling to tolerate inappropriate behavior: Kobe Bryant. The 2004 Los Angeles Lakers were supposed to be a super team. With Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, Gary Payton, and Karl Malone, the roster looked unbeatable on paper. In reality, it was a volatile mix of egos and tension. Before the team imploded on the court, a far more serious issue erupted behind the scenes. When Malone arrived in Los Angeles, he formed what appeared to be a close friendship with Kobe. Their families socialized, their wives spent time together, and Kobe viewed Malone as a mentor figure. That made what happened next even more damaging. On November 23, 2004, during a home game against the Milwaukee Bucks, Malone attended the game in street clothes while sidelined by knee surgery. Vanessa Bryant was present, and according to accounts later shared by Kobe's agent Rob Pelinka, Malone made a series of comments that left her deeply uncomfortable. He allegedly invited her to sit with him for a hug, suggested it would make magazine covers, and made remarks that crossed clear boundaries. Later, as Vanessa returned Malone's son to him, Malone reportedly made a comment referencing hunting little Mexican girls, alluding to Vanessa's heritage. Vanessa immediately told Kobe on the drive home. Kobe called Malone directly, furious, demanding that he stay away from his wife. In later interviews, Kobe expressed profound disappointment and betrayal, stating there was no misunderstanding. Malone, through his agent, denied wrongdoing, downplayed the incident as playful banter, and dismissed the situation as a Hollywood soap opera. The relationship was never repaired, and Malone left the Lakers after that season.